You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday, happy Moon Day, and happy last day of Saturn in Aquarius. It has been a long 3-ish year journey, and tomorrow, within an hour of the full moon in Virgo, Saturn moves into Pisces. So a lot of what we'll be talking about today is kind of the lead up to this full moon and to this huge energetic shift with Saturn moving into Pisces. And I would love to know, if you're joining me live, how the energy is feeling for you today. Because full disclosure, the moon is in my 12th house, and woo, I am feeling this energy. Corby's here. Hello. Hi, Rachel. Before we get into the forecast, though, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge today's Pisces, because Shaquille O'Neal is a Pisces, and I just think that that is so interesting. I think it's very interesting. I would not guess that, but I was actually just talking about him with a friend yesterday and how he often asks servers how much they think they should be tipped, and then he just gives them whatever they ask for. Interesting. Let's see. Tyler, the Creator, is also a Pisces. Now that makes sense. The Creator is literally in his name. So Pisces. Connie Britton is a Pisces. Marcus Smart. Lots of notable people. Of course, if you are a Pisces, if you know someone celebrating today, let us know so we can send some love their way too. Hi, Katie. Virgo moon over here in my 8th house. I'm ready for the rebirth. Yeah. Yes. And I know Saturn is your ruling planet, so I hope you're doing okay with Saturn at the 29th degree. Yeah, I'm feeling this too. Feeling it too, Rachel. Moon is in my 11th. Corby says, leaning on my community today. I'm dragging. And I do want to note too, because I'm right there with you all. I am right there with you. Definitely dragging. But remember, it's Moon Day. And Moon Day is a perfect day to just get in touch with your body. Take it slow. Take the feminine approach to whatever you have to get done to your to-do list, or just take some time to tend to your home, tend to your family, and again, just take care of yourself, nourish your body. So I know it's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of Monday expectations, but in astrology, this is Moon Day. Full permission to be a little bit more in our emotions. Hi, Nick. So it's interesting because let's just look at the chart really quick, okay? Because there's a lot happening right now. Let me pull this up and make sure it's in my local time zone. Not that it really matters if you are in a different time zone, but all right, we still have Jupiter, Chiron, and Venus all in that conjunction that's separating right now in Aries. So there's a lot of activation happening in the Aries part of each of our charts. But also we have Saturn at 29 degrees and 55 minutes. Remember, there are 60 minutes in each degree. So we're getting there. We are getting to the very end of Saturn in Aquarius, and then Pluto is at 29 degrees of Capricorn as well. So if you are an Aquarius rising or have major Aquarius energy, if you are a Scorpio rising or have major Scorpio energy, and the same goes for Capricorns, your ruling planet is doing the most right now. Okay, so actually I just want to share this because I would just made myself laugh when I tweeted this last night, but this is basically the vibe of these planets at the 29th degree, especially if you have that energy in your chart. It's like, like the 29th degree, the anaretic degree, brings restlessness, as Rachel mentioned, brings this eagerness to get on to the next thing, especially when we're talking about Saturn and Pluto. Pluto being at the 29th degree is like, okay, let's just die and be reborn already. Like, let's go on to the next thing. Saturn at the 29th degree just wants closure. It wants to know what's coming next. It wants to take a practical approach and just get on to Saturn and Pisces. So I feel like a lot of us are seeking closure or just experiencing the heightened state of both of these planets at the 29th degree. And then to top it all off, we are coming into the full moon in Virgo. Now, Saturn will move into Pisces sometime in the 4 a.m. hour Pacific time, so 7 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning, and the full moon is right in that same hour. So as the night goes on, as the day goes on, maybe you're already feeling this, our emotions are heightened and we're feeling this restlessness. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm going to be real with you. I have spent the morning just trying to get into a space where I felt like I could come on and like pump everybody up and be excited. And that's just not happening for me today. So this is me. This is how it's feeling. It's a lot for me. If it's a lot for you too, you are not alone. Hi, Chevy, Katie's son. He has lots of Pisces opposition. Yeah, well, he's probably feeling the energy too. And remember, a full moon in general, it's ancestral, it's biological. We know that there's more light in the sky at night and we become more restless. It's harder for us to sleep at night. Our dreams become heightened. So our whole body is just like, whoa, energetically, we know there's something big coming. And then if you are tapped into the astrology world or the spiritual world, which I'm assuming you are, if you're watching this right now, everyone and their mother is talking about Saturn moving into Pisces. Just collectively, we're all focusing on this big event, which can bring up some restlessness and excitement as well. Nikki says it feels like a void moon for her today. Yeah, making a lot of art this weekend. Interesting. The moon is not technically void today, but it's not doing a whole lot. So, you know, we're working our way up to that full moon energy. We feel it. Don't know how I'm functioning because you're a Scorpio rising and you just have that power to keep going, right? You're like, I can handle the intensity, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Hi, Diane. Saturn is my ruling planet. Katie says, I feel like Saturn's got my back. Love that. What a great mentality, especially because the 29th degree isn't necessarily good or bad. No transits are good or bad. It's just like, okay, we know something big is coming. We know there's a shift. We know there's a change, and it can feel like, okay, what's coming, you know? Can Mars transiting the ascendant signify death? Whoa, I don't think so. I would say maybe Pluto transiting the ascendant. Maybe Mars transiting the ascendant would feel more to me like taking action, showing up. I could see maybe some sort of like accident if we're looking at the dark side of a transit, but I don't think Mars is necessarily death. Uranus transiting the ascendant. Uranus is nicknamed the murder planet. Like that could bring about a major shift, a big enough shift to push you into another dimension or realm. But I don't necessarily associate Mars with death. That's just me though. Oh, Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Mars. Haven't been able to focus on anything all weekend. My head has been all over the place. I believe it. I believe that. Yeah, because remember, even though Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, Saturn is the traditional ruler. So anytime I read like an Aquarius rising's birth chart or somebody has a lot of Aquarius energy, I always tell them to pay attention to what Saturn's doing too. Nikki says, I'm a Virgo sun, feel this energy kind of emotional. That's probably the Virgo full moon. Diane's excited. She got her altar all set up, finished tweaking her vision board, have that sitting on her altar, as well as her frog abundance illustration. She is ready. Love this for you. Your ruling planet, Mercury, is like, let's just dream and vision with Mercury and Pisces. Love that. Okay, but let's talk about what's happening today, because we've talked about what's happening tomorrow, and I'm glad we started with that because that's really the overarching theme. But we have two major transits happening today, and they're supporting us on our journey. The Sun is forming a sextile to Uranus, and Mercury, speaking of Mercury, is forming a sextile to the North Node. Perfect for what Diane was just talking about. So this is really helping us lean into the change and lean into the path ahead, both of these transits. And we'll dive into each of them individually. Someone on Instagram says, I haven't been sick for 2 years, and this morning, all of a sudden, I woke up feeling a sore throat. Does that make sense? It depends on what's going on in your chart, but also remembering that it's Pisces season. We're all more energetically sensitive. The full moon heightens everything. So yeah, definitely protect your energy. Take it slow if you're feeling like your body is not handling the current energy well, or there's overwhelm or anxiety or too much going on. Again, it's moon day. Just take it nice and slow and take care of your body. Hi, Court. Aquarius in the 3rd house, and it says Sun, Mercury, and midheaven all in Virgo. Love that for the Virgo full moon for you. Great time for you to speak up and be visible. Love it. Diane says, I feel like for me, this is like me having worked extra hard through all the waxing cycle, bringing so much effort through the physical plane. Now I will be touching base with the goddess at full moon. Okay, yes, Diane, yes. Showing gratitude for all she's done for me already, and then surrendering to the divine. For the waning cycle, she will be taking over. The rest is up to her. What is meant for me, this or better. Yes, thank you for blessing us with that reminder. Just give it to God, give it to the goddess. And Pisces season is all about trust. So even if things feel heightened, even if we're extra emotional, even if we're feeling restless, Pisces season is that reminder just to trust the process, trust the universe. There's a bigger plan than we can understand. Someone just sent you flowers. Okay. Yes. Love this for you. Virgo in your 7th house, full moon, highlighting your relationships. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about the current transits. So the Sun forming a sextile to Uranus. This transit was exact early this morning, but we're definitely still feeling it today. Remember the Sun in Pisces, talking about that sensitive Pisces energy, and Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus is in Taurus for a long time. So we're seeing long-term physical shifts in the earth. I'm actually, a lot of times things just come in when I'm talking, let me tell you guys, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize we were going to be talking about that. It's interesting because it's very gloomy here. It's very dark. It just started raining. But I don't know if you all have noticed this where you're living or if there's anything happening like this around you. But right now, a little higher elevation from us in the mountains, they have just been getting pummeled with snow day after day. Towns that aren't used to getting snow, maybe a few inches every once in a while, are getting 3-4 feet of snow. Roofs are caving in. It's crazy up there. And the Sun forming a sextile to Uranus is really bringing awareness to the physical changes in the earth. Regardless of how you feel about climate change, the data backs up that there's some changes happening, and what we're expecting is hotter summers, longer droughts, and then really intense winters. It's like this whiplash effect. And so interesting that that just came through, like intense weather. And just the sun, when it's connecting to another planet, we can think of it as bringing light to it or illuminating it. This is a nice supportive angle between the Sun and Uranus. And so it's just kind of that like awareness, like, hey, it doesn't normally rain this much, or it doesn't normally snow this much, or this is kind of odd. This feels like a disruption to the normal pattern, right? So the sun is also forming a sextile to my Uranus Neptune conjunction in Capricorn. That's something that if you have that Uranus Neptune conjunction anywhere between like 15-20 degrees, which is a lot of millennials, you might be feeling this too. I've been making small moves towards my dreams and feeling that innovation energy. Great use of it. Okay, so we kind of talked about collectively what this might be showing up as, but also collectively, the sun connecting with Uranus can shine light on major shifts, not just with the weather, but just in general, big changes, big shifts that are happening. And remember, Uranus is like stepping outside of our comfort zone, innovating, changing. So if we're willing to lean into this sextile, if we're willing to lean out of our comfort zone, there could be some excitement and some innovation there, just like Rachel mentioned. So this transit on a personal level can bring breakthroughs if we recognize, okay, here's the line of our comfort zone. Are we willing to just at least put a toe out of there? Are we willing to just kind of expand our horizons a little bit? And something that came through too is Uranus wants to break us free. And the sun in Pisces is all about dreaming and visioning. Sometimes the breakthrough can happen when we realize how free we actually already are, that we have free will, that nobody is controlling our thoughts or making us do anything. At least, again, if you are watching this, there's a good chance that you have access to technology, that you are a sovereign being, that no one is forcing you to watch this right now. Maybe Katie's son, Chevy, but other than him, no one is probably forcing you to watch this. So the sun forming a sextile to Uranus is also an invitation to be like, look at all the ways I'm really free, whether it's financially with Uranus and Taurus, whether it's physically, like the freedom to move your body how you want to move your body, whether it's mentally, the freedom to think how you want to think, the freedom to dream with this sextile to the sun in Pisces. There are humans on this earth in this lifetime, and many, many, many humans for thousands of years that didn't even have the freedom to dream of a life they wanted. They were born into a system knowing this is how I will live and this is how I will die and this is my duty. And there really was no room for the ability to like, oh, what do I want to be? What do I want to create? What do I want to do? We are living in the age of Aquarius, the age of freedom, the age of innovation and individuality and claiming our own dreams. And so this sextile between the sun and Uranus can be that invitation like, wow, look how free I already am. And with this freedom, I can innovate. I can push myself outside of my comfort zone because no one is keeping me here. So a way to use this energy might be trying something different. That might bring a new perspective. How can you free yourself a little bit more today? Even if it's just freeing your mind. Remember, Mercury is in Pisces too. So freeing your mind from the need to know. Allowing some creativity to come through, imagining, writing on a page and just letting the words flow through, seeing, okay, how can I be more free flowing? How can I innovate through creativity and through that dream state? So interesting, because I feel like the Jupiter-Venus Chiron conjunction has helped me heal wounds that have been holding me back. And now I'm making steps of what I want to do with that confidence. Amazing. Yes. Yes, Celine. Freeing your mind from the need to know. Pisces energy can definitely help us with that. Pisces energy is the ability to believe in what isn't factual or logical. Actually, I just watched our friend Court, who popped in the chat a little bit ago. She posted a great thing on TikTok about not everything has to be logical. Not everything has to make sense for it to be true. Such a great reminder for Pisces season. And of course, from the Pisces rising herself, Court, she's like, things don't need to make sense to me. I can just believe them. And that is another way to free yourself. How can you believe more in what isn't spelled out right in front of you, right? So all these different ways we can innovate through creativity, through belief, through imagination, through visioning. This would be a great energy to lean into, especially as we go into the next transit that's playing out today, that's currently playing out right now. The ability to vision what you want to happen, especially under this powerful full moon, as Saturn moves into Pisces. The ability to see with your third eye, with your mind's eye, what you are trying to call in, what the possibility could be. Using that extrasensory vision is really powerful today and could help you set yourself up for a really potent ritual or realization or breakthrough to happen under this full moon, or even just a potent release to follow. Ooh, Rachel says, yesterday I did an astrology birth chart reading with a friend, and now she's referring me to other people. That's so exciting, Rachel. Yeah, imagine all the possibilities. Like, allow yourself to dream about what this could mean for you, how it could develop. It always is and will be expressed in my gratitude that I am fortunate for all the freedoms I am blessed with. What a beautiful mantra. I love that. Alyssa, that's for me. I need things to make sense and really struggle with that. But also, I know you, Alyssa, and you can believe in the unseen. You are very connected to the unseen. So give yourself more credit. Like, you are super tapped into. I would say most people would be like, wow, she really believes in things that are unseen. But you're just already super witchy. You're like, oh gosh, I'm trying to make sense of everything. Like, you're already farther along than you think you are. Am I doing any rituals tonight? That's a great question, Celine. I might do some moon water, maybe charge my crystals. I haven't done that in a while, to be honest. And I love the Virgo full moon, but it doesn't move into my first house until tomorrow. So part of me is wondering, I might wait until tomorrow just because I think I personally will be feeling a little bit better. The last couple of days, I just have not been feeling great. So I think that's important too. You know, you don't have to be feeling great to do rituals, but your energy is part of the ritual as well. And just honoring where you are, remembering you can work with this moon a few days before, a few days after. And again, the full moon is exact at like 4 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. So tomorrow night will still be a really potent opportunity to work with the full moon. Yes, and see it as if it's already happened. Feel the feeling as if it's fulfilled. A great tip for manifestation. And again, believing that it's possible with all this Pisces energy. It's tonight the night to do the moon water, or tomorrow. Either or, whatever feels better for you. You could totally do it tonight. You could totally do it tomorrow. Trust yourself, trust your intuition. What feels good for you? Yeah, you can definitely do it a day after. And tomorrow is the official day of the full moon. So remember, there's not a right or wrong way to do ritual, to practice magic. Your intuition is your most powerful tool. But release the need to know. Yes, exactly. Believe in whenever you do your full moon ritual, it's exactly the perfect time for you. You don't need to trust anybody else's guidance other than your own inner compass. You know how to best serve yourself and practice your own magic. Okay, let's talk about the next transit that's playing out. It was exact at about 12:30 p.m. So we're really feeling this right now. Mercury forming a sextile to the North Node. And let me pull up the chart here because I realized I didn't show you what these transits look like. But we have Mercury at 6 degrees, the North Node at 6 degrees, so you can see that sextile, but we also have the Sun at 16 degrees, forming a sextile to Uranus at 15 degrees. But remember, this was earlier in the day that it was exact. So in general, we're feeling this support between Pisces energy, the dreaming, the visioning, and Taurus energy, bringing it into reality, making it concrete, bringing things down to the physical realm, which again is so beautiful leading up to this full moon, because a lot of the themes we'll be talking about tomorrow with the full moon are really bridging fantasy and reality, as above, so below. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo today even. So Virgo is very practical. It's an earth sign. It's literally bringing things from the ethers, emotionally, metaphysically, pulling them down into reality. That is the power of this full moon. And Saturn in Pisces has a similar theme as well, taking that Pisces energy with Saturn there and bringing it through, making it logical, make it make sense. Maybe not in the way you think it's going to make sense, though. Does that make sense? So we're really, like, in general feeling this bridge over the next couple days between the metaphysical and the physical, the ethereal and the material. That is something to lean into. And if you're doing any sort of ritual, tap into that. Like, how can I bring the things that are in my mind's eye that I am visioning and pull them into reality, one little step at a time, one small detail at a time under the Virgo full moon? And that really plays into the transit we're feeling right now. Mercury in Pisces, allowing us to vision, allowing us to dream and imagine and fantasize and flow that creativity through our mind's eye, forming a sextile to the North Node in Taurus, and at the same time forming a trine to the South Node in Scorpio. This positive triangle, if you will, not a grand trine, but it is a little love triangle that's playing out here between Mercury and the North and South nodes. It's like whatever's popping into your imagination today is signaling, hey, if you lean in this direction, this might be the path of least resistance forward. This could be the path of your highest calling. There could be like flashes of insight or intuitive downloads that come through, especially with the Sun-Uranus connection. Uranus can be very intuitive as well. So there's a lot of intuitive power today. Noticing what ideas are coming up, what's coming up for you, and it's coming up for a reason, you know, even if you don't fully understand it, whatever is popping into your mind's eye, especially with everything that's playing out right now, is coming up for a reason. So trusting in those little creative nudges and those inklings, and trusting that they're leading you in the right direction. Now, with Mercury also forming a trine to the South Node, there could be some downloads, insights that come through that are like, hey, this is really what you need to release, especially with the South Node in Scorpio. It could be giving you some nudges like the full moon, post full moon is a beautiful time to let go and release. So as you are like, oh, this is where I want to go, with the North and South Node being on this axis, in order to move more in this direction, we need to release a little bit in this direction. So playing in that polarity with like, okay, if this is what my soul is calling me to do, this is the other end of the scale that has to release some weight, if that makes sense. So pay attention to little pings, little insights, little downloads, and see where they take you. Yeah, so happy about Saturn moving into Pisces and not retrograding into Aquarius again. Yeah, Saturn won't be back in Aquarius for another 29-ish years. So we don't really have to worry about that energy again for a while. Saturn is always in the chart though. And that's the thing. I think we're seeing a lot of people in the spiritual community like, Saturn is moving into Pisces, yay! And it's like, well, Saturn is still in everybody's chart somewhere. Saturn's still there. Saturn's still doing things. I think it'll be a lot easier to work with Saturn in Pisces because Saturn is more at home in Aquarius and really doing the hard work and forcing us to see different perspectives. Saturn in Pisces feels a little bit more flowy and intuitive. Again, we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but yes, it's really the end of this era of Saturn in Aquarius. Yeah, it was my Saturn return too. So I still feeling it, to be honest with you, but I get it. I get it. And for those of you who have Saturn in Pisces, do not fear, do not fret. Saturn is just shaking things up to align you with your highest calling, but it's helpful to know that it's happening. At least it was for me. Did dig some flag parts out of my father's stuff today to use in a shot in my low-budget horror film. Been trying to manifest getting the film done more. Great time to do it with all of that 10th house energy for you under this full moon, Nick. So coming back to this sextile between Mercury and the North Node, again, the overarching thing here is pay attention to what pops into your mind's eye, what you're imagining, where your mind drifts to when you're not trying to control your thoughts. And remember that with this connection between Pisces and the earth sign of Taurus, this transit can help us align with the inspiration we're trying to ground. Like, okay, I have this dream. How can I pull parts of it little by little? into reality. And then as the day goes on, the moon gets fuller, we're starting to feel the effects of the full moon in Virgo. So let's just tap into this, not fully, since tomorrow we will be diving into the full moon more in depth, but we can start to work with the full moon's magic tonight. And Virgo energy is all about purity. It's all about cleansing. So cleansing your body, maybe even doing a saging ritual tonight before you do any sort of charging of your crystals or manifestation. I would definitely cleanse first. The full moon in Virgo. The full moon, as we've talked about, is a time where our emotions are heightened, and Virgo energy is very analytical. So not only are our emotions heightened, but there is that tendency to try to make sense of them. And there is that tendency to notice every little detail that's provoking our emotions. Like, oh, that little thing is like really making me sensitive, or, just little things making us a little more emotional. So notice. I think the best thing that we can do under this full moon using the analytical energy is to be the witness, to notice the emotions as they come up, to notice our thought patterns, to notice our emotional patterns. Virgo is all about the patterns. So what habits are coming up? Where does your mind go when your body feels unsafe? Where does your body go when your mind feels unsafe? What habits or patterns are supporting you in your ascension, in your rise, in your manifestation, and whatever you're trying to call in achieving your dreams? And what programs are you ready to release under this full moon? Becoming the witness of the patterns that are popping up is my biggest piece of advice, and something I'm personally trying to lean into and trying to do. Yeah, small steps. Definitely. Purification. Yeah. Definitely. Dissociation. Dissociation is like Pisces energy. Association would probably be like Virgo energy. So if you're noticing, okay, am I dissociating? That's a pattern to become aware of. Like, I literally caught myself doing that the other day, where I was like, I'm like starting to black out right now. Like, I am not, my body and my mind are not wanting to be present right now. What's coming up for me? That's not something that just clicks into place overnight. It's a continual practice of learning to witness your emotions. Or again, this is just my experience. It has been for me. So yes, being the witness. Had some strong dreams, could see some energy to clean. Paying attention to your dreams under a full moon as well is always something I recommend. So the only transit that we experienced with the full moon today actually was first thing this morning, and the moon opposed Mercury. So the theme of the day, Mercury is like really packing a punch today. The theme of the day really feels, again, like the mental and the physical. That bridge between our mental mind and our physical body, between what we can see but can't grasp and what we can physically feel. When the moon opposes Mercury, I don't know why I'm bringing this up because it's a little past due, but maybe I can see it here. Yeah. There's that opposition between the moon and Mercury. When the moon opposes Mercury, we do have the tendency to swing between our mind and our heart, coming to like fully being analytical in our mind and then fully being in our feels. It's kind of like that back and forth, that push-pull, that tugging dynamic in the opposition. Now, at the same time, the moon formed a trine to the North Node. So we're really feeling that activation between Mercury and the North Node today. And becoming the witness of our emotions, noticing, am I stuck in my head? Am I stuck in my body? Like, finding the middle ground between our head and our heart, between our mind and our body, can be that place, lead us to that place that we're supposed to be going. I really feel like the bridge between the mind and the body is where like those intuitive insights live. Because if you're fully in your mind, you're not tapped into your intuition. And if you're fully in your body, you're not able to put the pieces together in your mind. At least, again, that's how I see it. So finding that balance between the two is where those pings of inspiration can come in that can lead us on the path we're supposed to walk. Honestly, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Rachel says, lately I've been really trying to lean into that dreamy energy, and today has been kind of a push-pull energy, trying not to fall into negative thoughts. You and me both, but also knowing that the moon for us is in our 12th house, and that's some sensitive energy. Wherever the moon is for you, you're probably feeling heightened energy because it's almost full. So just give yourself grace. Whatever's coming up for you, give yourself grace. And those are the transits of the day. I feel like also we just need to acknowledge that we have multiple planets at 29 degrees. So it's just amplification, right? It's just further amplifying this full moon energy. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just a lot. My motto is just let it shed. Yeah. And being the witness of your emotions, like a visual that could help is like noticing them move through you, almost like noticing them like, okay, I'm feeling this, like let it wash off of me. You can literally, like, this is kind of a witchy technique. You can literally like move energy off of your body. You know, if you're like, gosh, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, like, okay, I don't have to feel this anymore. Like tapping, finding safety, putting on a tapping video from YouTube, doing some breath work, finding that safety in your body and realizing, okay, if I'm feeling tension, if I'm feeling overwhelmed in a certain part of my life in a certain way, that could signal what I'm ready to release, or that could signal something that I'm like excited about and wanting to lean into it. So witnessing, where is this coming from? Being a little bit of a researcher or analyzing how you're feeling and using that to guide you into, okay, what's the next step? How can I either harness this or release this? Deep breaths. Something I recently read too was that like most of us aren't breathing enough oxygen every day. Most of us are not taking enough deep breaths. So again, another way to cleanse, to reset, giving yourself the permission, just if you're feeling the overwhelm, that can be magic. Just a deep breath. It's called like a physiological sigh, actually, and it really is aimed, it really can like reset your nervous system on some level. I feel like I've had a bunch of other people's kids running through my house, and the last one is finally leaving tonight. Aquarian to the core, you're like, give me my space. Get out of here. I need my space. Brush your shoulders off. I love that idea. Yeah, and giving yourself a hug, self-regulating. But if you feel like something is stuck in your energy field, just, I mean, it's super powerful to be like, okay, no, thank you. We don't want this in here anymore. I saw this girl on like TikTok who does a bunch of witchy stuff. She talked about like, if you feel like someone is giving you the evil eye, that's something you can do. Just like release their energy. But you can do that with your own stuff too. Have I ever used spells to successfully heal the body? Me personally, no. I did have one of my best friends who was going through some really scary, intense health stuff all last year during her Saturn return, and didn't necessarily cast a spell, but I did set up a crystal grid for her on my desk where I could see it every day and just send energy. I set up part of the grid at her house too and just sent energy to her. She was also pregnant and envisioned the energy going into her baby as well. So that's probably like the closest thing I've done. I've also been part of a group that you could kind of call it like laying hands on someone. So another woman who was in our community going through a hard time, several of us got together and just for probably a half hour did some energy work on her. And me, I'm not a Reiki healer. I am not like a witch, if you will. Like I don't have specific spells I use. I'm just like, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was like, I'm just sending love and light to this woman. And, you know, it's all we can really do. I'm not an herbalist either, but herbs are super powerful, and there's so many great resources on herbs if you're looking to heal something specific. So definitely do your research. Find someone you trust that you can consult with, because I really do believe in the power of not just energy and ritual, but herbs too, using the earth to heal us rather than just subscribing to a prescription that someone tells us we should take. Not that that's bad either. I realized today how many times I've created safety mark for myself. It gave me more confidence going forward. Yes. Yeah. Another great reminder. Like, if I'm feeling unsafe in my body, I know I can find safety again. Like I've done it before. So how did I do it before, and how can I tap into that again? Lunch is ready for me. Yeah, of course, Celine. I hope you find the healing you're looking for. Okay, speaking of which, let's come back to today's affirmation. The truth lies somewhere between my head and my heart. Coming back to that polarity between the ethereal and the material, as above, so below, in our mind and our body, finding the middle ground between the two. The truth lies somewhere between our head and our heart. If we're fully in our head, we're probably talking ourselves in circles. I've been there a million times, right? Like, our mind doesn't have all the answers. There are things that our senses, that our body can tap into that our mind can't always make sense of. If we're totally in our body, if we're totally in our heart and in our emotions all the time, there's not really truth there either, because if every little thing is provoking our emotions, we're probably not thinking clearly. So if you're finding yourself all the way to one side or all the way to the other, totally in your head, totally in your emotions, how can you bridge the gap between your head and your heart? Thanks for being here, Rachel. We're sending love to you. And we'll finish up with a tarot pull from the Queen of the Moon deck. She just wanted to be pulled from again, especially with this full moon. I'm like, we've got to give the Queen of the Moon her time to shine. Love the affirmation. Reminds me of a piece I've been working on. We are definitely on the same wavelength. I can't wait to see what you've been creating. Amazing. All right. And as I shuffle up, whoa, a card from a different deck got stuck in here. Okay, as I shuffle the cards, this is your chance to ask any final questions, share any rituals you'll be doing under the full moon, share how the energy is feeling for you, or just repeat the affirmation. The truth lies somewhere between my head and my heart. Knowing that however you're feeling, it's perfectly acceptable. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And this full moon might be illuminating a pattern for you or a detail that you might have overlooked. So really leaning into that energy. Oh, the card from the other deck was, I know everybody's like, what card was it? It wasn't actually a card. It was just like a little guide from the Universe Has Your Back deck. So I think the message was just, the universe has your back. I hope that this deck will help you deepen your connection to the innermost part of yourself and to the universe. You will be guided to your true purpose, to love and spread love. Yeah. All right. Let's see what came through the Queen of the Moon, though. Here we go. Let's take a deep breath, sending our energy into the cards as we release the deepest breath you've taken all day. From the bottom, all the way up, and hold. Now release. What do we need to know? Perfect for today. The card is the Path. The Path, we've got a lot of North Node activation today. It's perfect. Card number 8, the Path. All right, and here is the message that's coming through. The way is open for you. The path is illuminated. Begin the journey now. Respond and take action. We must be courageous and move forward. I am open and responsive to the opening of the way. When we accept where we are, we acknowledge what needs to change and grow and begin to love ourselves more completely. The direction of our lives begins to change. We often decide we want to follow a more authentic way for ourselves, and our desires become more aligned with the needs, wants, and values of our true selves. Imagine we are lost in a dark forest and can hardly see. There is no visible path, and every way looks exactly the same. We feel burdened by shadows and are not sure we should even move because we are so paralyzed by fear and uncertainty. Then, the sunshine somehow breaks through the clouds and leaf canopy, and there ahead is a path, illuminated in golden light. It is clear now, the direction we should head. The path is not only visible, but it is inviting us forward. And so, instead of just standing there, we can't wait to step on it and move forward. The path is lit, and now it is time to walk upon it. And the companion crystal for this card is pyrite, which represents abundance. Perfect with Mercury connecting with the North Node, paying attention to the intuitive insights, trusting that the path ahead is being illuminated step by step under the Virgo full moon, allowing the moon to illuminate the path, even if you can just see that next little baby step that the universe is nudging you to take. Yeah, that is a message, definitely. The universe has your back, deck. So noticing, where is the path leading you? Are you feeling resistance to the path? Is the path scary? Or is that the path that's really being illuminated? You know, analyzing, witnessing what's coming up for you. Even if you have, like, doing a meditation with that visual could be really powerful too, starting in a dark forest and noticing as the path is illuminated, okay, where is this leading me to? What direction am I going in? If you're looking for clarity, leaning into that third eye energy of Mercury in Pisces, of the sun in Pisces under this full moon, and seeing if you can tap into the peripheral of your consciousness and find some intuitive data that's coming into you and helping you along the way. Opening myself to what unfolds tonight. Yes, beautiful card. I hope you have a beautiful full moon as well. And there's the abundance again. Following the path of least resistance, allowing your intuition to lead you is what leads to abundance, even if it doesn't make sense. You know, I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, I can't believe I'm quitting my stable job and just trusting in this intuitive ping that I got to start live streaming. And so much abundance has come from it. And I'm not just talking about financial abundance, that is coming, but community abundance, connection. Almost everything I've created over the past couple years has been just following my intuition and allowing the path to unfold. And allowing creations to be birthed through me rather than trying to control them or force them. That's what definitely leads to abundance in my experience. The sun is also forming a sextile to your natal Uranus. Yeah, and those of us who have Uranus and Neptune and Capricorn might be experiencing that as well. The sun connecting with our natal Uranus too. So not only helping us to innovate and step out of our comfort zone collectively, but also personally too. Maybe adjust the dream, update the dream, innovate the dream a little bit under this full moon. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I will be back tomorrow, and our friend Court will be joining me at 11:11 to talk about Saturn in Pisces and the full moon in Virgo, what it means for you, how it's showing up in your chart, and hopefully the energy starts to feel a little lighter post full moon and post Saturn moving into Pisces. But I do have to say, I know it rationally, but it's not until I sit here and experience connecting with you all in my body that I'm reminded how powerful this community is, and that I feel so much gratitude for the support I get from you and from the ability to have these conversations with you all and to tap into what's going on around us and how it's affecting us. I always feel so great after we connect, and I hope these chats leave you feeling that way too. Yes, you will see our friend Court tomorrow. I'm really excited to have her on. It's going to be a great day. We'll talk about, again, where Saturn's coming into in your chart, where the full moon is showing up in your chart. We are so grateful that you are part of our community, especially with this full moon lighting up your 11th house. You are such a light in this community we're creating together, and I think we can all feel that. Sending you positive vibes, Tunic, and some visions of success and forward motion on the big project you've been working on. Each and every one of you are so special. If you are one of my regulars, I'm so grateful you keep showing up for yourself, for this community. If you're new here, I'm seeing a couple new names in the chat. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can keep these forecasts and these chats coming to you for free every weekday. As always, I'm just so grateful that you tune in when I'm able to come on, especially on days like today where I'm not feeling 100%, but I am very excited to chat with you all tomorrow about this new era that this full moon is illuminating for us, and Saturn is beginning as he steps into Pisces. So we'll chat all about it tomorrow. I hope you have a blessed full moon tonight and a beautiful rest of your day. And until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.